What great music brings us to the Distillery Channel.com, coming to you live from Geneva, Illinois. This is Randy Weckerly, and sitting across from me is the one and only Gene Latham. How you doing, Gene?
I'm awesome today, Randy. Thanks.
Awesome. I just want to live up to your awesomeness. So,
my expectations.
Or you could get closer to the microphone and we could hear you a whole heck of a lot better.
Well,
How's that?
This is my first rodeo. So.
Strap it down, tie it in, and here we go. So today, we're going to be featuring a few things in the Distillery Channel and what we're all about. And you put together quite a show.
I did. I spent a little time on this, just so you know.
Yeah, good. Well, you got to get really closer to that microphone and talk right into it.
Why?
Wow, now you know why.
Okay.
You got to talk right into it. All right. So anyway, today, now that we stopped the show in the first 30 seconds, where's the featured destination?
The featured destination is the Kentucky Bluegrass region. Now, mind you, this is our Voyage, the Distillery Channel Network show. And so we couldn't, when I'm looking at the locations, I figured out that this is probably going to be one of the best places that we could start at in terms of what we're going to be talking about. We are the premier libations entertainment destination source for craft spirits, beer, and the wine industry. Now,
did we get that through information at the library or through actual hands-on operation? How do we come about to become the actual... What did you say we are?
We are the premier libations and entertainment destination source for the craft, spirits, beer, and wine industry. Yeah. First of all, you can find us at www.thedistillerychannel.com. And then there's a whole bunch of other social media stuff we'll mention in a little while. But basically how we came about this was that we were doing a fair amount of research, and realized that the craft spirits industry specifically is a very wide industry. And so we feel that the show that we're put together is going to be of great interest and entertainment.
Yeah, what's really cool about it today, we're going to have libation stops, the joke of the day, the word of the week, cocktail recipe. I think it's called the panty dropper. I can't wait to hear more about that. Make a drink under the camera, call the mixologist, and mixing tips. We're going to have product features, technology apps, news and trivia story related to lead into the feature destination. And talking about Kentucky, you had given me some interesting facts and info here that I thought was pretty interesting. They have $6 billion of gold in the ground in Kentucky.
I've heard that in Fort Knox.
Fort Knox, and the interesting thing is, in the War of 1812, more than half of all the Americans killed were Kentuckians. So maybe that's why they drink.
Crazy. Yeah. there could be something there.
Yeah, and here's another one. Middleborough, the only city in the United States built within a meteor crater.
That is, I find remarkable.
Weird. I don't know what all that, but it all adds up to bourbon. We're going to be defining bourbon. Is that one of the things we're going to do in the show today?
Yes, absolutely. The difference between bourbon and whiskey. We're going to have all kinds of fun facts, information about the industry, not only the craft spirits industry, but the wine and beer industry as well. Yeah. Even though Kentucky is known mostly for its bourbon.
Bourbon. I want to get that definition of the bourbon. And we're going to be going down to the Miller House in Owensboro, Kentucky, which is, you've done the research in that. What is that going to be?
I thought you were just going to carry the show, so I just let you go.
No, go.
The Miller House. There is 3 of the top 10 bourbon bars in the U.S. that have over 100 bourbons. 3 of them or more are located in Kentucky. One of them happens to be the Miller House, which is in Owensboro. The Miller House is the best bourbon bar that you've never heard of. That's their tagline. Yeah. The Bourbon's Bistro, which is in Louisville and has vintage whiskeys. And then we have the famous Bluegrass Tavern, which is where, actually, I've heard that the distillers go to drink their competitors' whiskey.
And we're going to talk about dining and culture and contests and sweepstakes. We're going to have a few of our new ad spots are going to be coming in, some of our advertisers, and those are going to be quickly here, Gene, as we end up this little quick segment. We're going to be talking about our trip to Maui, our destination travel trip through Where to Play Golf.
Absolutely, in November.
And we're going to talk about the Where to Play Golf team, what they do, sweepstakes that we all can participate in to go on our trip with us. We're going to talk about, in addition to that, the different advertisers and sponsors that are involved in the distillerychannel.com. Come back to us. We're going to be coming back soon with the distillerychannel.com. welcome you all.
Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining. Shine on the one it's gone and true and true.
Hotel Wailea in beautiful Wailea, Maui. Join us for our fall excursion to one of the most favorite destinations nationally and internationally. Enjoy first-class golf at top-acclaimed Maui courses, dine with top-rated chefs, and experience the most breathtaking adventure while luxuriating in Maui's #1 best-voted hotel by Condé Nast, Hotel Wailea. Visit us at www.hotelwailea.com. That's www.hotelwailea.com. Live eco-style for the insatiable, eco-minded traveler. The leader in eco-experiential lifestyle, inspiring, guiding, and connecting people to have deeper, richer, and more personal experiences while traveling. It's about uniting and tying together conservation, communities, and sustainability. We capture the pure joy of discovering the eco-pleasures the world has to offer. It's a lifestyle. Where and how you live and travel, the culture and community, food, health, and wellness, relaxation and nature, and adventure, all from an eco perspective. Visit us at www.liveecostyle.com.
Hello, everybody. This is Randy Weckerly with the DistilleryChannel.com, coming to you live from Geneva, Illinois, and across the table from me is the beautiful one and only Jean Latham. How are you doing this afternoon, Jean?
I'm awesome today, Randy. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. You're always awesome. That's what we know here. This is going to be a tremendous opportunity for you to tune in and hear about distilleries, wineries, and breweries of the nation, but a few important facts. You can find us at the distillerychannel.com, and then you could like us on what, Jean?
We would be liked on Facebook at the Distillery Channel, and you can follow us on Twitter at Distillery Chan, that's C-H-A-N, and you can like us on Instagram at the Distillery Channel.
That's super. We got a great show today. It's going to be one that's been put together and produced by Jean Latham with a ton of research. Featured destination, Jean, is going to be
the Kentucky Bluegrass region.
Yeah, libation stops.
All about the bourbon.
Yeah, well, we're going to define bourbon, too. I was a little unsure about that myself. We're going to have a joke of the day, a word of the week, cocktail recipe called... What'd you call that?
The panty dropper.
Can't wait to hear all about that.
It's delicious. I've actually drank them before, and I didn't even know what they were called.
I can't even comment. Make a drink under camera. I'm not even sure what that means. Call into a mixologist. And tips, mixing tips, stirred or shaken.
We're also going to have some great features, such as whatever happens to be the product feature in the libations industry. We're going to have a fruit keg tapping kit.
News and trivia story, Miller House, wherever that is, Bourbon Bistro down in Kentucky, and Bluegrass Tavern in Lexington, Kentucky. But just a couple fun facts that Gene dug out before we go any further about the state of Kentucky. One of them is that in the war, what was it, the War of 1812, the more soldiers died from Kentucky than any other state.
Well, that's incredible.
It's amazing.
I find that. I mean, I believe you, but I just feel like that. Yeah,
it's got to be true. It's right here in the paper that you gave me.
I read it on the internet.
It's got to be true. They have more gold buried in the state of Kentucky than anywhere in the country.
I believe that would be in Fort Knox.
Oh, so it's easily found.
I don't think it's just buried in the ground.
Can we just go get some?
Maybe.
I don't know. They have.
I know people there.
I'm sure you do. I'm going to get back to that recipe again. Anyway, we're going to go. The meteor. People live in a meteor crater in Kentucky. It's the only city in the country where they.
Kentucky would not be a state that I would feel that had probably had a meteor dropped on it of any size.
Well, I think they fall. I don't know. Anyway, I think the reason that they started drinking in Kentucky, they have a lot of reasons.
They're afraid. You don't know if you're going to wake up in the morning or not.
They're living in a meteor hole. They have the first enamel bathtub made in Louisville in 1856.
Important fact.
And never to be used since then, that time. Middlesboro, the only city in the United States. That is the meteor crater. And what, anyway.
You're kind of stuck on that meteor crater thing.
Meteor
What's up
crater,
with that?
Well, it bothers me. Did you remember that
Be
story we heard
afraid.
about the guy that was in somewhere overseas and a meteor hit him?
Randomly. It was like India or something, didn't it? Yeah, like the odds would be like 1 in 90 bazillion chances.
Yeah, the meteor
This guy got
chased
struck, it killed
15 billion year mission to kill that guy.
Oh my God.
That is a bad day. Anyway, let's get back into the show we're going to be doing today. What we're going to be talking about first, Gene, is what? Where we're going to go and where are we going to take us today?
Well, we're going to be doing a bunch of fun things today. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Kentucky, but we're going to talk about some great destinations, both dining and accommodations, and some great places to have cocktails, of course. Just some really interesting items about events and things going on there. We're also going to take a tour to one of, actually, 3 of the top bourbon bars in the United States right now. 3 of them happen to be in Kentucky that have over 100 plus bourbons. So that sounds like a pretty fascinating place. A lot of them with a lot of great history behind them. Yeah. And, like I said, we're going to be doing some stuff about accommodations, where to stay, where to play, where to have fun, and just have a good time in Kentucky.
Yeah, one of the things we want to keep people up to date on is things that are going to be coming up. The distillery in September, in the world of distilleries, in the Kentucky Bourbon Festival is going to be September 13th through the 18th, and that celebrates the history in the making of Kentucky's signature product, the Kentucky Bourbon. And we're going to be, in terms of wineries, it's going to be, well, we already missed Kentucky Derby.
Well, it's coming up.
Yeah, well, we got
Again.
in May of 2017.
It depends on how you look at it.
We're just that much closer to Christmas, and then we go again another 6 months, and we're right back to the Kentucky Derby in May of 17. And then brewery, what do we have there?
We have a great Louisville Blues, Brews, and Barbecue Festival in Louisville, which this is a big, big event. Very, very well attended with great food and drink.
Yeah, I think. So what separates Kentuckians from Texans?
Well, we've got a joke. It's about, all I can say is it's about a Texan and an Oxford graduate.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it later.
Oh, well. So they drink in Texas and they drink in Kentucky, but the people in Texas might have an edge even if they're done drinking. Yeah. Anyway, libations of the week, bourbon. What are we going to learn about bourbon?
Well, we're going to talk about the difference between bourbon and whiskey, which I have some knowledge about, but I actually learned about a lot during research with this. So it's pretty interesting. We're also going to do, I believe, the cocktail recipe is the panty dropper that was mentioned earlier. Again, I've had this cocktail before and had no idea, but it's a great seasonal summertime drink.
Let's get right into that, being that we're halfway through this segment. I think that's something that we can just bring people into understanding the cocktail recipe called the panty dropper.
Panty dropper.
So I'm going to read the first part of this just, and then you can fill in. It says the panty dropper makes a great fizzy pink lemonade. It's definitely one of the must-have summer staples if it's hot. Now, I understand that you've experienced this.
I have.
And
once or twice.
Sure. And where were we at the time?
I'm going to be vague. On a lake setting. There was water around.
All right. If it's hot, which you are, you're low on cash, which we are, and want to have a lot of fun, which we do, this is the answer. So go ahead and fill us in, Gene.
Okay. First of all, this cracks me up. Now you can like half this recipe, but I'm gonna go with the recipe that I have made in the past. So
You've made it. Is this singular? When you hear this, if it's a singular, go ahead.
It's 24. First of all, 24 cans of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, the most watery beer in the world. We'll get into that in a minute.
A half gallon of premium vodka and 4 cans of pink lemonade. Now, I've never made it with pink lemonade. I think you can use a regular. But first thing you want to make sure is that you have a clean 5-gallon bucket, because I'm talking there's a lot of liquid here.
So this is what was on a boat?
This was prepared before it got on the boat.
Okay.
You would not want to prepare it on the boat because it's kind of big and it's sticky and messy stuff. So you want to be throwing this in a big like igloo cooler or something.
It's good to have friends like you.
with big 5-gallon
Hi, guys. I'm ready. I got my meatloaf sandwich and my 5-gallon bucket right behind me. So go ahead. You can use a punch bowl or something like that as well.
Okay, so I'm going to go with igloo coolers. So you're going to mix
Sure.
it all up in igloo cooler, and I'm just telling you, it says.
Hope it's got wheels.
Oh my. Okay, so you just mix all the ingredients together. But the best way to do this is by mixing the frozen pink lemonade first with the vodka.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you won't kill the carbonation in the beer, because that's obviously important, as you'll hear later on. So if you want the lemonade to be extra sweet, add a 5th can of concentrated lemonade.
Of course.
Okay.
That's the way I saw it.
Then you pour all 24 cans of the beer into that mixture.
Again, obvious.
So you're going to get You're going to get a lot of head from all that beer. Yeah, it's going to foam up pretty significantly. And it's kind of unavoidable, but it'll go down after a while.
And why do they use Pabst Blue Ribbon beer?
Because apparently it's got the least amount of alcohol
Beer in it.
content. It's the most watery beer.
The main point it says here, using Pabst Blue Ribbon is not because it's cheap, although most people will tell you that, and that's what I say in my book, but because it's very watery beer. You won't want to use an expensive beer that has flavor. That's part of the instructions.
I think you're just looking for the carbonation. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up here just in 30 seconds. We're going to go to break, but you don't want to use an expensive beer. That would make the lemonade taste bad. It says you could use another cheap watery beers as well, like Natural Ice, for example. No, that's watery beer.
It's about as water as you're going to get.
And it would still come out okay. It says, toss some ice in a glass and drink responsibly.
I'm just telling you, it's delicious. It is.
We'll be right back. Gene Latham, Randy Weckerly on the distillerychannel.com. Where to Play Golf Network, golf's premier entertainment and destination source. Partnering with world-class golf courses and premier resorts, we are America's golf destination, vacation, and travel radio show. Where to Play Golf provides the most discriminating golfer unparalleled opportunities of golfing adventures of distinction. From famous 19th holes, dining and drinking destinations, historical and cultural experiences, relaxation and recreational pursuits, and off-the-beaten-path golf adventures from a purely entertaining perspective. Awarded the 2016 Golf Radio Show of the Year, featuring Michael Stewart, America's #1 golf course writer, and Tim Bona, traveling correspondent. It's information, it's quirky, it's golf. People like us, and we like them. It's a golf chemistry thing that grows the game. There is nothing quite like it anywhere. Visit us at www.wheretoplaygolf.com. That's wheretoplaygolf.com.
Welcome back to the Distillery Channel Network. Hi, I'm Gene Latham, along with host Randy Weckerly, and we are taking you to one of our favorite featured destinations, the Kentucky Bluegrass region. This segment is brought to you by beautiful Hotel Wailea in Maui, Hawaii, one of our favorite Pacific destinations.
I'm ready to go.
We're ready to go. We're going in November, actually.
Yeah.
But Kentucky Bluegrass region, we're here right now. And one of the things that has been very intriguing with me as we were looking at doing the research is how the whole bourbon concept and how Kentucky, the Kentucky Bluegrass region was formed and a lot of the culture. And so with that caveat, I'm going to give you a brief little history. 1700s, first settlers of Kentucky showed up. And what happened was, like most farmers and frontiersmen, they found that getting crops to market over narrow trails and steep mountains was really a daunting task. So what they did is they began converting corn and other grains to whiskey. making them easily transportable.
Obviously.
So, yeah, it sounds like a good story,
No,
right?
it's what I would have done.
So they identified this process, and actually what happened was they realized that it would keep, by liquefying them, it would keep the grains from rotting.
Oh, of course.
So it was a very welcome diversion to that rough type of life during that frontier time. So anyway, with that, bourbon. How did bourbon get its name, Randy?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
Well, I think what we talked about is that it was from Bourbon County.
It was Bourbon County.
And they have some pretty strict rules, as I understand, in
Well,
terms of what bourbon is bourbon.
Yes, they do. And we'll get into that in a little bit, between the difference between bourbon and whiskey.
put
And
my
there is
notes
a significant difference.
Yeah.
But yes, Bourbon County was one of the Kentucky's first original counties, and that's where it was named from. Real interesting, too. They actually shipped their whiskey in oak barrels. Also a part of this process that you'll learn about. And it was stamped from Bourbon County. They ship it down the Ohio and Mississippi River to New Orleans. The long trip aged the whiskey with the oak wood, and it gave it flavor, that distinctive mellow flavor and amber color. So anyways, pretty interesting. It's like a lot of things in our history.
So what you're telling me is that any bourbon, it's an American-only drink.
Bourbon is an American.
So
only.
Scotch is Scotch, and bourbon is bourbon.
Scotch is from Scotland, and whiskey can be from Scotland, America, and one other place that I'm drawing a blank on right now.
Well, the cool thing is, it says 1964, Congress officially recognized bourbon's birthplace in our history and our future by declaring it a distinctive product of the United States, or as we like to say, America's official native spirit.
Right. The other cool thing is in terms of the economy, it helps support the economy. So over 9,000 jobs, $125 million of tax revenue each year. Wow. Maybe I could think of another state that might help that.
Yeah, well,
we won't mention it.
Not that we're from Illinois. No, not that they need that. Anyway, they generate 2.5 million visitors from all 50 states, 25 countries. In the world-famous Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And these trails across the country are catching on, not just in Kentucky. And even though we're talking about Kentucky right now, the trails, people are really interested in not only the craft spirits industry, but the same with the breweries and the wineries. People take vacations around those.
Well, I think we found that. That's why if you go to distillerychannel.com, we have the distillery trails that people can sit and they can take a look at and try to outline where they're going to go, and we have more distilleries. We're able to go to the American Craft Spirits Association back in March we went to.
Yes, in Chicago.
That was one of the things we learned there. There was 854 active distillers across the country, and growing. And there's no used equipment on the marketplace because all of them are very, very successful.
Correct.
Very successful.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And just real quick, back to the trails, I just wanted to mention one more thing. It's kind of like a lot of vacations that you take. If you're going to a water park, you are not going to spend an entire 24 hours in a water park. If you go golfing, you're not going to golf for 24 hours. Same thing with distilleries. A lot of people are really fashioning their vacations around, those kind of the distillery and craft spirits and breweries and such. However, they also have to eat.
Yes.
And they have to stay somewhere. And they probably would like to have some other fun besides just going to, tap cocktails.
Is that found on our...
That is. It is actually the Distillery Trails, which talk about where to eat, where to drink, where to play, and where to stay. So, And also a little bit of culture. A lot of people really are interested in embedding themselves kind of in the community in which they are in. And, of course, in Kentucky, it's not hard to do because there's so much history and so much richness here. The bourbon is just a piece of that. But it's big, very big, the industry.
Well, we found that driving through. Even in Illinois, there's a ton of distilleries that we could go close to here. But down in Kentucky, they got the trail.
They have the trail. Yeah. They have the Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
We're threatening to go.
I'm in. I think it's driving distance for us, too.
Yeah. You got 6 hours. I think we go in and figure it out, and we might get a couple invitations down there. One of the cool things that Gene and I like to do is that we like to go and test out the water before we talk about it on air, and going down there and staying and eating and embedding ourselves in the community and doing a few things.
So with that, we've been talking a lot about bourbon. So I want to go over just real quickly. I'm sure people have heard this before, that not all bourbons are whiskey.
Yes. But whiskeys aren't bourbons?
No, wait a minute. That's wrong. Not all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. So if you're a whiskey drinker, especially a bourbon drinker, you need to know what that means. So by definition, whiskey, or whiskey in Scotland, is a spirit distilled from fermented mash. And there's a lot of grain varieties. There's wheat and rye, barley, corn, and they're all aged in wooden barrels. Whiskey is made all over the world, and there's many popular styles, which include like Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey, and American whiskey. Yahoo! But the most popular form of American whiskey is bourbon, which has its own specific definition. Randy, can you tell me what that is?
Well, I think it has to have something to do with corn, maybe. I don't know. It has to do. They have to do something. I think it has to be put in a barrel.
It does.
You drink it and you get drunk.
It has to be. Bourbon needs to be produced. First of all, it's produced in America, which you had said before, and it's made with 51% whiskey. I'm sorry, 51% corn, which whiskey is not.
Is that sweet corn?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's like grain corn, like it's because it's a grain.
But 51%, not 52%.
51 specifically. Bourbon also is stored in new charred oak barrels, whereas it creates. Whereas whiskey barrels do not have to be in oak.
There's a lot of technical
It is
stuff
good technical.
Whiskey, I don't think goes in the barrel, but the bourbon comes out of the barrel that the whiskey didn't go into.
No,
but
whiskey
it has to have corn. 51%.
Do not need to be oak, but not new or charred. They need to be oak, is what they're saying.
Lastly, to be called bourbon, the liquid needs to be distilled to no more than 160 proof. That seems like a lot. 160 proof.
That's strong.
And entered into the barrel.
You'd be in big trouble.
At 125. I think
you could only have a drink.
Didn't you have a taste of that 160 proof stuff
I
earlier?
did.
Yeah.
It lit my esophagus on fire.
Yeah. And then what happened? You had to drink more to put it out.
Oh, my God.
Right?
I had to drink more, yes.
That is insane.
And then for other whiskeys, the liquid's going to be distilled more than 190 proof. So anyways, there's definitely a difference. And for all you whiskey drinkers out there and bourbon drinkers, I hope that I didn't insult any of you by not knowing the specific details. But I just found it really interesting. And that there is a really, obviously, this is a very, very sophisticated industry. And these people that are out there producing this have long histories and lots of knowledge in terms of the craft that they're making.
Yeah, I think some of the things that we found that we've been out there, or actually when we went to that American Crafts Distillery Association, some of the things they put with them are amazing, like chocolate and mint and just all over the board.
All kinds of just like flavored, a lot of flavored stuff. Oh my goodness, we had some amazing tastes of various
it is interesting to go to a craft distiller, because then after you're done eating, then they go down, and they actually have a really nice, it was at the Palmer House in Chicago.
Yes.
And then they go down after dinner, and they give out awards, and then they put their awards on the tables, and then they go around testing each.
And they test all of these craft spirits.
No driving.
No, there's no driving. They're not, shouldn't be walking that night.
No, they are a hardy group of
great people,
wonderful people,
live life full, and they're very passionate. That's the thing that struck me is all of people that we've ever met in this industry are so passionate about what they're doing, and they're just creating these like amazing.
And they're all good. I mean, that's the amazing thing. They give out a lot of awards, but very few that we had that we wouldn't go back and and work. The cool one was that candy, bourbon and candy.
Yeah, you did like that, didn't you? The chocolate.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Anyway, I think what we should do now is that joke of the week. What separates Texans from Kentuckians?
From Kentuckians?
Yeah.
From Oxford grads, I think.
I think it was rather humorous. Is that as we get into that, I said some Texans decided that they were not like Kentuckians, and basically some Texans are mingling at the bar when an Oxford graduate walks in and says, "Howdy, stranger." One Texan says, "Where are you from?" The Oxford graduate answers, "I come from a place where we do not end our sentences in prepositions." "Oh, I'm sorry," replies a crusty Texan. "So, where are you from, jackass?"
Bump.
Bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I could see that being that we've had some dealings with our friends from Texas.
Our friends from Texas, yes,
they
they
take
are.
no-
They are a very straightforward bunch down there.
They take no prisoners.
I have actually a great little item that I want to talk about real quick. Product feature. We have. I found the most amazing thing today. So I don't know if this is the season. 'Tis the season. This is called. It's about forbidden fruit. I found a fruit.
Does that go along with panty droppers?
Kind of.
The forbidden fruit and the panty dropper.
That's
All
another
right.
story, too. I have a lot of stories.
Okay, stay tuned for after the show, because after we start drinking, all the great stories will come out.
I found this fruit keg tapping kick. Listen to this.
Yeah.
You take it, you tap. It's basically tapping seasonal drinks straight from the source with this. So what you do is you take like a watermelon, since it's summertime, obviously, and you're going to slice off the top third of the watermelon and hollow out all the fruit and the juice out of it. And then you fill it up with a little bit of fruit and a whole bunch of liquor, depending on whatever you want, vodka, whiskeys, rum, gin, whatever you want. And then you take the bottom half of it, you slice out just a little bit of the rind to make it flat, so you can actually sit the watermelon on a table.
Yeah.
Like I said, you fill it back up with the alcohol, put the top half of the rind on the top of it, and then you get this. What you buy it's a shank and a faucet. It looks like actually a brewery brewer's tap. A beer brewer's tap. So you actually tap it into the side of the watermelon, let that sit for a day or so, and you're going to have some delicious melon-tasting whatever the fruit is that you want in there.
It might be
really
seedless, but it will be potent.
It will be potent.
It will. So anything that basically that you can mix at something big, Gene, is
good.
Is
It's
good.
all good.
So
I'm talking.
More is better.
I'm talking
Bigger is
igloo
definitely
coolers,
better.
watermelons.
Okay, quickly, we got news and trivia. News came in for the first. This is interesting. Found out that news, the word news, is from northeast, west, and south. Just the first letter of each. I didn't know that. Kentucky Derby stats. A typical Derby crowd guzzles 120,000 mint juleps. I thought it would have been more, actually. Gotta go! Welcome back. Welcome to Come Back. Whatever you're going to do, stay with us. DistilleryChannel.com.
King and Prince Beach and Golf Resort, St. Simons Island, Georgia. St. Simons Island and Georgia's fabled Golden Isle are rich in history, relaxed charm, and natural beauty, making it the perfect spot for Georgia vacations. Voted top 10 island destination in the United States by Condé Nast Traveler. Certificate of Excellence, 6 consecutive years by TripAdvisor. We all love TripAdvisor. Best Coastal Small Towns by USA Today. America's Most Romantic Town, Travel and Leisure. And #1 golf course in Georgia by Golf Advisor. Surround yourself with nature's tropical beauty and island charm at the oceanfront King and Prince Beach and Golf Resort.
That's kingandprince.com.
kingandprince.com.
I think. Anyway, great place to go. We'll be back in just a minute.
Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining.
Yeah, it's old Kentucky. That's what we're talking about today. You don't get music like that anymore, Gene. I'll tell you that.
It's some old time music.
It is, yeah. This is a Distillery Channel Network with Gene Latham sitting across from me and myself, Randy Weckerly, bringing you. What are we going to, Gene?
We are going to the beautiful region of the Bluegrass region of Kentucky.
And we're going to talk about horses and bourbon and brew and wine
And Daniel Boone.
everybody loves Daniel Boone. I think it was Daniel Boone, wasn't it the guy, Fess Parker? He was the guy that played Daniel
Festus?
Boone. No, Fess. Not Festus.
Oh, sorry.
No, Festus was Marshall Dillon's.
You're dating yourself over there.
I read books. Anyway, before we get into that, I think we ought to roll out the Carnarvon Wagon, a feature of our show.
Whoa. What's a Carnarvon wagon?
Oh, everybody.
I don't know anything about this.
Well, basically, it's a 2-wheeled cart sitting
Do
to
you ride it?
No, you put alcohol, ice, and glasses
In a wagon.
No, it's a cart. It's a cart.
It has wheels, Randy.
This started in the 50s and 60s from the glamorous days of movies when all people in the United States after the war wanted to have a libation at 6 p.m. in their smoking jacket, typically silk. And as the wife would fix dinner in her apron, and you'd be watching Ozzie and Harriet.
It's like June Cleaver, kind
It's
of
exactly.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, you got it. Yeah.
Whole
yeah.
depiction. I'm getting an image here in my head.
Pearls around her neck and sitting and putting a great dinner. The guy of the house, who's the only one that typically worked, he'd have a drink.
Okay, from this Carnarvon wagon.
The Carnarvon wagon. Full of alcohol, ice, glasses, and mix. And we have one next to us now. And I think we should partake.
Carnarvon? Are we Carnarvoning?
Well, listen to this. See,
Can you make a drink?
Here. What does that sound like?
It sounds like ice in a glass.
That's ice in a glass.
I want
okay.
something in my glass with
Okay,
the ice.
and here we go. Liquid goes in the glass from the
Hey,
Carnarvon
you know
wagon.
what? That looks like one of those panty droppers. Did
As
you
long
mix
as-
up some panty
And
droppers?
then you put some more in. Little mix on top. And no umbrellas. Just hold your head back open wide and cheers, Gene. Carnarvon
Cheers.
wagon.
Do I get one of these too?
Drink hardy.
You give me water.
Well, it's not 5 gallons worth, but go ahead. Go for
I need a
it.
straw.
It doesn't come in. No, the wheels don't come on your glass. So, Carnarvon wagon. Cheers. Everybody
Cheers.
should have one.
Cheers to the Carnarvon wagon.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. That is, like you said, like 50s and 60s.
You're
You
not
said that was
young.
around?
Don't.
No.
Are you really?
I am young enough,
You're
yes.
beautiful and young, but I always thought you would have.
So, hey, let's jump back. I want to talk a little bit about this bluegrass region in Kentucky.
Sure.
So, Kentucky's known for a lot of things. Bourbon, we've talked about, obviously. They've got some fantastic breweries and wineries. And this whole Daniel Boone thing, as I was doing the research, realized that there is just a ton of, the history there with him. In fact, one of the top distilleries in Kentucky called Buffalo Trace Distillery, located in Frankfort, Kentucky. See what happens after I have a cocktail?
That's Frankfurt.com.
A drink of cocktail.
No, not
So
really.
actually, no. In 1771, Daniel Boone passed through Leestown on the Buffalo Trace, which is where the Buffalo Trace got their name from. Real interesting story with that. Basically, the pioneers passed through that area. The buffalo and the buffalo basically blazed the trail for pioneers to go through to this really rugged kind of land.
I didn't realize the buffalo were as far east as Kentucky.
I don't know. That was what I read about it.
Well, if they made paths, they had to be.
Yeah, they kind of blazed the trail through there.
Had
So
no idea.
anyway, so hence the Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfurt. These guys are phenomenal. They have won a ton of awards. Whiskey Advocate Distillery of the Year, starting looks like back in 2000. They have a Visitor of the Visitor Attraction of the Year. Distillery Magazine, a Whiskey Magazine, also named them as. Buffalo Trace Distillery is also named as a National Historic Landmark. That actually happened back in 2013.
That's pretty amazing, really, when you think about it. National Historical Landmark, yeah.
Yes, tons of history. I mean, these guys have been around for a long time. It's passed through a few different hands, but the distillery that is located present, the Buffalo Trace Distillery, is, like I said, renowned nationally and internationally in terms of the craft spirits that they produce.
Some of the things that they have here and the things that have happened since 1771. Can you imagine that? Daniel Boone passes through, as you said, Leestown, Buffalo Trace. And interestingly, Prohibition ends with only 4 distilleries in Kentucky capable of producing whiskey. I think maybe they kept the recipe, is what they're saying.
I think so.
The distillery in 1942 produces its 1 millionth barrel after Prohibition. I wonder if they had any saved.
I'm guessing there might have had
That's
a little.
lot. That's
they
a
might
lot.
have.
Well, that's almost 100,000 a year. That's incredible. 1999, distillery renovations are completed and rechristened the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Hey, jump forward here. In
Yeah.
2008, they actually produced the 6 millionth barrel after
That's amazing.
Prohibition.
That's amazing.
So,
Yeah.
these guys are they're putting out some product.
Distilleries named Whiskey Magazine's Visitor Attraction of the Year. Wow. I got to go down to that place. We got to figure out how we're going to get down there. Crazy. Good stuff.
I think we could drive.
Well, maybe 2 there,
Or
not
fly.
back.
We're not that far away.
Yeah, we gotta drive.
Besides amazing distilleries in the area, though, they've got some incredible wineries and breweries as well. There's a location that I also equally want to check into, and it's called Old 502 Winery, and it is located in the downtown in Louisville.
Louisville is such a cool town, too. When you drive into it, it's
excellent.
just beautiful.
In
Yeah.
a previous lifetime, I was a salesperson, and I had an account in that area, and that was one of my favorite places to go, was to go to the downtown area. Lots of great restaurants and bars, and just things that have been renovated. The buildings are old and just meticulously reclaimed and returned to vibrancy down there.
Yeah, it says here they're using grapes grown by local Kentucky farmers, and they craft some of the most eclectic. What is eclectic mean?
I'm going to say it's kind of like out of the norm, kind of funky, kind of, I don't know what they're doing
Well,
with
they
it.
say eclectic, and dare we say funky wines you'll ever have the pleasure of tasting. We challenge winemaking convention, they say. Sometimes we ignore it altogether. So join us for a completely different wine experience with wines that embody the uniqueness and can do spirit of the city. Did we just do a commercial for these people? Maybe we should send out a bill. I think they should give us, send us something, for that. That's a lot of good stuff.
There's actually another wine cellar that I want to mention, though, that sounds very intriguing as well. It's in Maysville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's called Baker Bird Wine Cellar.
Baker Bird.
Baker Bird.
Baker Bird.
Baker Bird. They've got some historic stuff there. Yeah. They have one of the largest wine cellars in the country. And it was actually built by the Germans. And they specialize in the German wine, yes.
That's awesome. That is really.
It's
terrific.
actually on the winery itself is on. It's one of the 22 wineries that's listed on the National Historic Registry out of 6,000 wineries in the United States. So very, very cool. It's this beautiful area, and again, built by the Germans. And it sounds like a very intriguing place.
Well, about German wine, one of the things they do is that they're known for is the purity of their wine in Germany. I mean, they categorize it.
Are you making this up just
No,
because
I'm not.
you're German?
I'm German. No, I love German wine.
I think he's making it up, guys.
I'm not. Auslese, Spätlese, and Cabernet, I think, are the 3 grades at the government of Germany, Cabernet being the least. Auslese being the middle, and Spätlese being the best, and they categorize German wines. But I wonder if they do that down here in Kentucky for their. Maybe we should go down and give them that
We should go and check that out as well.
And I think one of the things we should tell our listeners is this. Again, Randy Weckerly, Gene Latham, coming to you from the distillerychannel.com, and we're talking about distilleries, wineries, and
breweries.
Do we have anything to talk about in breweries?
We do. We have a couple I want to mention real quick. The Blue Stallion Brewing Company, and that's located in Lexington, Kentucky as well. They've got some pretty fun things going on down there. It is it's also just this amazing craft beer industry. I mean, you think of Kentucky, you think of like the spirits, but again, beer and wine, huge. But this Blue Stallion Brewing Company, a big deal down there. Obviously, we know craft breweries have exploded across the country.
Sort of what we're trying to do. I mean, seriously, to take a minute to tell people what we're trying to do. We're trying to highlight one of the fastest growing industries in the country, if not the world, and to give people the opportunity, because we know people like to travel, like to highlight, and what we want to do is bring in these areas all the different things that they can do from breweries, wineries, and distilleries.
A couple things about this real quick.
Yeah.
They do like a big authentic German lager background brewing techniques and ingredients that they use. They also are doing some amazing things in the community, and that's also parts of what is so important about a lot of this travel. It's not just about going and visiting distilleries or whatever you might be doing. It's about, like, what do you do there? Authentic experience. They have a Mission Monday program at the Blue Stallion. They donate 10% of the taproom sales back to nonprofits in the area. They do this every Monday, 10%.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. And so it benefits the entire community. Plus, they are just an amazing, they have an excellent, amazing product, and very community-oriented.
Yeah, just quickly here, it says, Against the Grain Brewing and Smokehouse, the Citra Ass Down Counts.
Well, you got to say that right. Sit your ass down.
Oh, I see how it is. The Screaming Mimi.
Screaming Mimi.
Fast lawyers' terms, and boom goes the dynamite. Here we go, and this is Randy Weckerly, Gene Latham. Come back to us right after this. Where to Play Golf, America's award-winning golf show, features all of your favorite destinations reaching from Florida, South Carolina, and the Golden Isles to Hawaii. Sign up today for our fall excursion to the world's favorite destination, Maui, Hawaii. Enjoy world-class golf and fine dining, #1 golf courses, 2 #1 chefs, and celebrating the island's beauty. Joining us on this trip is none other than Nancy Lopez, member of the LPGA Hall of Fame, while she brings her Nancy Lopez Golf Adventure team and inspirational instruction along with us on this trip. Meet Nancy on a one-on-one experience, taking home memories and photos of a lifetime. This trip is limited to just 50 people, so sign up now. Information on our Maui package and how to sign up can be found at wheretopplaygolf.com. That's wheretopplaygolf.com. Hello again, this is Randy Weckerly and Gene Latham sitting across with the Distillery Channel.com, and today we're still down in Kentucky, right, Gene?
We are.
Yeah.
We
Are we
are.
ever going to leave that state?
I don't know. It's pretty beautiful here.
Yeah, I know. It's fantastic.
I could stay.
Yeah. Well, I think Kentucky is what it's all about. Daniel Boone and all the great things in life. Where are we going next, Gene? What's happening? What are we talking about?
Well, you know, it's interesting, this thread that's been running along through here with the Daniel Boone. We found a really amazing place to dine. As I mentioned earlier, Randy, one of the things that we like to do when we travel like this is not only imbibe in some cocktails, but also the dining's a big part of it. Where do you stay? Where do you play? What do you do on the other periods of time when you're not on a distillery trail? So there we found the historic Boone Tavern Hotel and Restaurant. It is it really has this great Southern hospitality feel to it, and the historical feel to it when you walk in there is very much like it does. It just has this southern charm. It's actually, I think it was like open like 105 years. 105 years it's been in existence.
That's one of the cool things we found when we were down in Charleston when we went in, what do we say, at the Riverfront Inn. We walked in there, and that had been around forever.
For a long time. I think there was ghosts in that place, actually.
I think the door got slammed on your
I don't
butt
know.
one evening. The guy
slammed
at the front
harshly.
desk, he said, yeah, they're here.
Yep.
You know. And then the interesting thing was down there, to divert from Kentucky to South Carolina just for a minute, was the historical aspect of what we do in this show, but we found out that the cobblestone street that was along that hotel, you couldn't walk on, but the rocks were from the ballast of the ships that came from Africa and Europe.
Ladies, do not attempt to wear high heels in parts of Charleston.
Yeah.
Bring a pair of flats or flip-flops and put your high heels in a purse.
Yeah.
And then put them on when you go into wherever you're going into. 'Cause you literally cannot walk on that
And-
cobblestone.
Yeah, and that's cool about in history. Get back to Kentucky, it's full of history. I mean, when you think about more Kentuckians died for the country than any other state, it's pretty amazing in the War of 1812.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So back to this Boone Tavern Hotel and Restaurant. One of the things that I found incredible while we were there is the state of Kentucky is such a lush, the produce that comes out of there is amazing. So they do have a lot of farm to table type restaurants.
Yeah, we like that.
We do love that. You get a lot of the local produce, the flavor for it. It's fresh. You know what I mean? It's fresh. That's probably the biggest thing is it's not coming out of a container, out of a grocery store.
Yeah.
So we do that a lot when we travel, and we find some of the best restaurants. In fact, some of the best restaurants that we've ever ate in, and we found this true in Kentucky as well, are the ones that probably aren't even doing a lot of advertising, but they're kind of like off the beaten path type locations.
Right.
So yeah, a very, very, just again, the culture, it all has to do with, learning really about what the area is that you're all about.
Yeah, well, we found that, and again, to divert a little bit from Kentucky and talk a little bit about the Distillery Channel and what we try to do in all our shows, is that we want to provide the opportunity for people to go and really embed themselves within communities no matter where it's been. And one of the things that we have found about this farm-to-table concept, we have met great chefs, people to grow food, particularly over in Maui. Just to divert there a little bit, we're going to go to Maui. Go ahead.
So back to this whole, the whole concept of this farm to table. Some of the things that Boone Tavern does is that they're actually one of the largest purchasers of the Kentucky Proud products in the state. They also select their ingredients directly from the market, the farmer's market in the area, which is in Berea. And they create weekly specials based on whatever the local food is that's available during that week, which I find is such a big trend across the country. Everywhere that we're traveling, we're seeing that. And what it does is provides you with this amazing, delicious, fresh food. And it's different. It's not a standard, a menu.
Yeah, I think one of the things we heard that the charisma seeps into the Bowling Green dining room. Their award-winning restaurant features a legendary cornbread souffle, locally known as Boone Tavern Spoonbread, among other mouth-watering original dishes that source regional Kentucky proud ingredients. And those things you talked about, the bedding, the handcrafted furniture, mirrors, many of which were made by the Berea college students.
So, and talking about some of the furnishings around there too. One of the things that's also equally important to a lot of folks is their LEED Gold Certified Green Hotel, which celebrates all things local. So they have a huge in this area. They have a huge folk art and crafts capital of the country. They've been named in numerous publications throughout the country. Artisans and craftsmen and culinary experts. But a lot of their furniture comes from local furniture, bedding, mirrors, all kinds of stuff like that. So pretty significant, again, tied to that community.
Well, I think in every community that we've been in is that when people can tie their existence to the community that they live and how we experience, it's just a richer, deeper experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. It makes you feel like you're like part of it. Like so many places we've traveled to is like you feel like you are actually, after a few days or a week or 10 days there, you start to make friends with people in the area. Another thing that I found out about Kentucky people, very, very friendly. Yeah.
After all, let's get back to the Carnarvon wagon. Or they had 5 gallons of whatever you're taking out on the boat.
Oh, the panty dropper.
Panty dropper. I don't know, Gene. What are you talking about?
They're very friendly.
How friendly are they?
Very.
And
that's all I'll say again.
Alrighty.
Okay. So another combination that we found most intriguing was the 21C Museum Hotel in Lexington. Yeah. This is actually, the story began with some local Kentuckians. They had a passion for contemporary art, and they made a considerable contribution to the revitalization to downtown Louisville. And again, if you have not been in downtown Louisville, you have to make the stop. There are so many incredible old buildings and things that have been renovated and great things going on. Basically, though, the 21C Museum Hotel really breathed a new life back into the city. They partnered with an architect, Deborah Burke, and they actually have a series of art displays in their hotel. It's a 91-room boutique hotel, and it has 9,000 square feet of exhibition space. If you are into art, a fantastic and fabulous place, and highly recommended to.
It says nestled in the historic downtown Louisville 21C Museum, Contemporary Art Museum, award-winning restaurant, cultural civic center, and the iconic Red Penguins.
I think I missed that.
I don't know. It says an iconic exhibit of cracking art group.
Now, is that after you've drank a lot of bourbon?
I don't know. Back to the Carnival wagon or the panty dropper. As one of the most unique hotels in Louisville, we pride ourselves in offering one-of-a-kind experiences for our guests who are visiting in the area for business or leisure alike. Discover the plush amenities featured in our chic boutique hotel and enjoy staying.
Did you mean to say that? You didn't really mean to say that, did you? Chic boutique.
Well, it's not chic. It's CHIC.
Chick. It's chick, Randy.
Chick boutique? Really? Oh, chic is different, isn't it? All right. Drink.
I'm just messing with you.
Culture. It's just chic.
It is chic.
All right. How much longer did this show go? We did
this
have.
You're making this painful for me.
This could be a singular next show, one at a time. Culture in 3 minutes. It says First Friday Berea. Come experience the First Friday Berea, where art's alive. Art who?
Art is an artisans.
Oh,
Randy.
No, it says arts.
Arts. Artisan.
A monthly celebration of Appalachian. Oh, is that Appalachian?
Appalachian?
No, it's Appalachian.
I don't.
It's like the. Oh, wait a minute. Do I go down to Miami Trail?
No. We don't want to talk about that. We don't have time, actually.
The Artisan Village District of Berea, Kentucky. Celebration features regional live music, performance art, handmade arts and crafts, and vendors. And what a great time you can have experiencing Kentucky local foods,
So
fire
local
show.
artisans. That's the bottom line is. No, it's an amazing celebration and festival that they have beginning of each month, each Friday.
Just some of the great stuff that comes out of there. Lumpy Ridge Brewing Company must be in the area.
Lumpy Ridge Brewing
over
Company.
here. Yeah. Right here, it says Lumpy Ridge. No, I don't want to go down there. All right, well, we'll leave Lumpy off the chart.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know Lumpy?
No, Lumpy.
No
No.
Lumpy?
Ixnay on the Lumpy.
All right. Well, how about Yosemite National Park?
No.
None? Mammoth
What
Brewing
are you
Company?
reading?
This stuff you handed
Put
me
the
here.
paper down, Randy.
All right, next. I'm just the on-air talent. Or lack
Okay.
thereof.
Hey,
Yeah.
so I have a couple things. I have some
right.
actually great a little trivia here.
Wait a minute. I got to take a drink.
I gotta take a drink, Randy. All right.
Is whiskey and bourbon? Bourbon is whiskey.
Bourbon and whiskey.
Whiskey can be whiskey, but bourbon
Cannot be. Bourbon's a type of whiskey.
Whiskey can't be bourbon, but
Bourbon's
bourbon
a-
can be whiskey.
Yeah. No. You know what? We're gonna have to redo that
wait a
segment.
minute. No, wait a minute. Just for another thing. One of the wineries we talked about,
Yes.
they make their wine in used bourbon barrels. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. And the other thing is that a little known fact is that bourbon barrels can only be used once. That's the law.
For bourbon, but for whiskey,
Yeah.
can they reuse them again?
They can. Well, they reuse them for wine. I don't know about whiskey. I think they can redo them for gin.
The
and some of
winery
other
I think
things.
that you're talking about was actually bourbon. They were bourbon barrels, and so they've got this like great. I believe it's the Baker Bird winery.
Well, the
Okay.
thing the thing is that these white pine barrels that all the distillers have nationally, there's actually only a couple places that make them.
White pine or white oak?
Oak. Is there a difference? There is a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Has to be
say
oak
I don't
then.
think you'd want
And
to
they have
age
be
anything in a
charred.
pine box.
That would not go well.
Pine barrel, that would not taste good.
Yeah.
No, real quick.
Yeah.
I have some really important, interesting facts.
Well, it's important because Gene says it's
It
important.
is important,
All right,
but
you
you
go
know,
ahead,
I found something really funny. Okay, so the other day I was traveling,
Yeah.
and I love to stop in bookstores.
Of course.
And I found a book that I have not read for literally
Dick and Jane.
25 years.
Dick and Jane.
A long time ago. Okay,
She's
few of you
fine.
are going to remember this. Everybody had a Reader's Digest
Yes.
publication.
Yes, we all did.
It's still in publication. I had no idea.
It was a small room issue that we'd go in and read while we were meditating.
I don't know about you, but we had stacks of them.
Every
at
grandma
home.
had stacks of them at home.
Yeah, yep. My mom and dad definitely,
Yeah.
and they probably still have a box of them somewhere. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway, so I pick up this Reader's Digest. Remember they had the cute, funny
Yeah.
stories and stuff in
Yeah.
there. So I found some interesting facts.
Of course. Gene says they're interesting.
Important
Right.
things created over a couple beers.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't know this.
No.
Pet Rocks. Gary Dahl,
Yeah.
who invented Pet Rocks,
Yeah.
spent 2 weeks writing the Pet Rock training manual, and he started selling it at a maintenance PAL rate of $3.95.
Can you believe that?
This was after a bar
Pet rock.
conversation.
A pet rock.
Pet
And-
Rock. People bought them.
And people
I
bought a lot
remember
of
it
them.
vaguely. I
Yeah.
do remember it. Yes.
Yeah.
Quidditch.
Quidditch.
Now,
Harry Potter.
I only recently became familiar with Quidditch,
Harry Potter.
and maybe you can share a little bit of light on this
Sure.
because I think one of your
Yeah.
sons, Randy, knows about this
Yeah, I
Quidditch
got a
thing.
millennial. We got 2 minutes here.
So,
Keep going.
anyways, J.K. Rowling created Quidditch in a pub after having a fight with her then boyfriend. In my deepest, darkest soul, she said, I would like to see him hit by a bludger.
A bludger.
Is a bludger something in Quidditch?
I don't know. They got a snitch, and they fly around on brooms. And now they have kids in college that are playing land Quidditch.
Land Quidditch.
So you send
Weird.
your son to Harvard, and then you get a picture of him running around
With a broom between
the
his
yard
legs.
With a broom between his legs.
Weird.
Again, come back to us. We're going to be fun for the last 2 minutes.
Blue moon of Kentucky, keep on shining.
Well, welcome back. Our final segment with Randy Weckerly, your host, and Gene Latham sitting across the table and dusting ourselves off for our inaugural DistilleryChannel.com feature. We're taking on a national, international stage. So we thought we'd just take some time here and let you folks get to know us a little bit better, where we're from, why travel and eating good food and things are important to us. And anyway, Gene, I think one of the things that was always important to you is traveling with your parents. You just got off the road with your parents going to Michigan.
We did a Michigan trip. It was it was actually quite fun. My parents are 86, and we had to do we did a family excursion for a nephew's and grandson's graduation. And my parents, who I'm very happy to say, who used to love to travel, have not traveled for about 2 years, and we were able to take them on this trip. So that, that was a cool thing. It was very interesting having that experience with them again. I've traveled with them a lot over the years, and one of the key things, my brother actually said this to me over the weekend. He has 2 teenage sons, and he said to me, we were talking about some experiences that they have recently just had on a trip, and he just said, I have to tell you that every great thing that really sticks out in my mind has happened when we were traveling.
Well, I think every family, that's the reason they take vacations. One of the things we wanted to do is tell people where they could go to have a vacation without having to come home to have a vacation from the vacation, where they could take their kids, embed themselves in a community where they could really learn about it and enjoy seeing the culture. Because one of the things we found out, we did our pilot for our TV show, Live Eco Style on Maui. We had 3 trips the past year. And we found that you go play in the ocean and feel good coming out, or you could be in a pool that's full of chlorine. And it's only 50 yards apart. And the pool might cost money, and the ocean cost nothing. Free. And the food we had, going up to Kula Bistro with our friend Luciano Zanin, one of the best chefs in the world, doesn't even have a freezer. No freezer in his restaurant. Everything is fresh every day. So we found that travel, and one of the things we did through, 3 years of research that we put
something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We found out that if people could push a button called ecotourism, the 2 out of 3 people would hit that button. So what we try to do in all our shows, Distillery Channel, Live Eco Style, and Where to Play Golf, our sister show with Michael Stewart and Tim Bona, is to bring people great times, great stories. And again, this Randy Weckerly with the distillerychannel.com and Gene Latham. Gene, any final thoughts? Quick.
Well, absolutely. We'll see you next week, and we're excited about all this. Next week, we're going to take you to America's most beautiful destinations for libations.
Where's that?
Oh, it's all over. We're going to go across the country.
Where? Come on, give us a hint.
We're going to be in,
Where?
I'll give you one.
Yeah?
We're going to be in
Where?
Colorado. Estes Park, Colorado.
And I think we're going to go to Lake Tahoe sometime later this year. We're going to go and see the mountains and the golf courses up there.
We're going to do some southeast, Savannah,
Yeah.
Golden Isles,
Yeah.
Charleston area.
Yeah. Florida.
Florida this winter.
Key West maybe is on our agenda.
Key West.
Yeah.
We love
Michigan.
Key West.
Golf capital of the world. It's U.S. Open week, fans. Turn on, and Father's Day is upcoming. Give your dad a hug and a kiss. We'll see you next week. For Randy Weckerly and
Gene Latham.
We're out of here. Hello, coming to you live from downtown Chicago. We're coming on air to see if we have anything coming into the board. Apparently we don't. All right, so give me a test 1, 2, 3 and see what we have to say here.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3.
Keep talking.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Okay, that's enough.
Testing.
Okay, here we are now visiting with Gene Latham live on the distillerychannel.com. Can you hear me, Gene?
I can hear you fine, Randy.
Well, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Can you shut the door in that room just for a minute?
If you wanted to talk to me, couldn't I just come out there?
No, you have to stay back there. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work through the phone.
I was kidding.
I wonder if I put the phone down. If
That
I
was
had that
funny?
mic. No, you're extremely hilarious. So
I
if I...
still hear the echo.
You can hear an echo?
Yep. Yes.
Hold on just a minute. I want to see if I can tune down this just a little bit. Can you hear it now?
Yeah, I can still hear it.
You can hear an echo now?
Yeah. It's just that, that after effect thing.
How about now? Apparently, we got cut off. All right, come on out.